welcome to Numbi hosting Shake. Now, before we start the event, I just wanted to welcome you guys and to tell you a little bit about Numbi, a little bit about Shake, and then pass it on to the fantastic hosts from Shake that will take you through the events of the evening. My name is Almi Ali. I'm a resident poet for Numbi. I'm also editor of Scarf, which is those magazines back there. Numbi is a cross-art, diasporic artist collective. We do seasonal events at the Rich Mix, we do workshops monthly at the Rich Mix, and we publish Scarf, which is an annual arts journal type of magazine, which is the best description I can offer it because it's a lot more complicated than that. But you can have a look, it's there, and come to your own journey. Shake is a fantastic organization. Our issues, we have a theme for every year, and this year our theme is youth, and we have had the fantastic opportunity to host Shake, which is an organization, a youth initiative that aims to create artistic responses to political issues, and we thought that was fantastic, so we're really happy and honored to be able to host them. And we also have all the way from Beijing via Berlin, DJ Zhao, playing the best African music I've heard in a while, ever, probably. But one of my favorite DJs ever, Ngoma Sound System, check it out, but you'll have the honor all the way from Berlin to hear him play tonight, and I think that is quite an honor. Now, before handing it over to your host, since I'm the resident poet, I just thought I would read a poem in honor of all the young people from Shake who are participating, and then I'll welcome them and let them take over. So, any young people in the crowd? Yeah? Fantastic. This poem is about writing, and it has a funny name. It's called Gagging Order Orange Soda. But that's all I'm going to say about the name. I'm going to go to the poem. As the story goes, once upon a day, my father was a titan, my mother lady time. I was taught to rhyme, this pen, a remedy, set you steady godsend, keep you on the mend. Most are left to mine, mark time on the spot, slay the clock, imagine a Glock, aimed at your arteries, put you out your misery, bleeding out your history, black bile is livery, leave you tethering on the brink, 1 in 10 going to sink, a tide, a twisted tie-dye destiny, meticulously misleading, trust issues, nets like tributaries, big river damn the loser, Piscean hydropower. But life is a brick, a fat tick, a hard lick, lay sticks, call it scaffolding, get cracked in the head, call it suffering, or suffragettes in skirt and dress, they fly in jets, please suffer me my silly sins, this silly talk, the way I get when I'm blocked, Kali Kush, call it stuttering. Rose church tests and all sorts of muttering, burnt orange fiend, this pirate is semi-peppered, swimming metaphors, I'm stepladder lettered, all aboard! Immigrant boys keep speaking in tongues, bad dreams keep feeling for guns, fail to trust life's mysteries, watching shadows haunted by ironies, penny drops for your thoughts, come flooding in to let you into the parable of the cave, filling labyrinth and maze, brilliant guises make you wiser, make you think it's all just bad advertising. Minotaur and Hydra, gatekeepers, riddle me this, won't rid that, shift this, fuck that, dream higher. Thank you. Woo! Now keep that round of applause going and welcome Edwina Kidd. Good evening, everybody.
How are you all doing tonight? We can't hear you. Come on, guys. What's this? Come on, man. Come on.
That's more like it. All right, to get you all energized, before we start, I just want to do a little thing. I think you'll pick it up because everyone else will hopefully join in.
So when I say voices, you say shake. Voices, shake! Voices, shake! Voices, shake! Shake!
Voices!
Welcome to our fifth Shake Showcase, Headspace, here at Richmix, hosted by Numbi Arts.
I'm Tasneema, I'm one of your hosts for this evening. I was part of the 4th Shake course, Remembering, Reimagining, Reparations. I was part of the film group, and it was a great experience. I was able to find a language to communicate my thoughts creatively, and met a lot of like-minded people who was as politically aware and like-minded, just like me.
My name's Kiz. I was part of the 5th Shake, which is Headspace. It was really quite a truly inspiring and humbling experience. I was part of the poetry group, which was quite amazing because I got to work with quite like-minded poets, and it just helped me develop as an artist, really. And yeah, it was humbling, and everyone I met was amazing.
And I'm Edwina, your host, also your host for this evening. Like Tasneema, I took part in the 4th Shake Showcase, and this really was also an experience for me, as I've never been in a space where there are so many politically aware people just like me. That was good.
Now enough about us. We're very happy to have you all with us, and we've got an amazing lineup for you tonight.
Just before we get started, we have some house rules to ensure we're all safe and have the best possible night ever. So, no smoking in the building, please, and please put your mobile phones on silent.
There will not be an interval this evening, so please wait for short breaks in between poets in order to go to the bar or use the toilets, which are located outside the main hall. But actually, if you hold tight, it's only 2 hours, and we have this space from 9 PM to 10 PM for all you to socialise and network with each other, so you can just wait till then.
If you'd like to tweet us about tonight's event, our Twitter is @VoicesThatShake, and the hashtag for tonight is #ShakeShowcase. They're up here on the screen, right behind us. Also, this event will be photographed, so if you do not wish to be appeared in any of the pictures, please contact someone from our team afterwards.
But of course, the most important rule is that everyone has fun and that we celebrate the talent in the room tonight. To make sure that all the artists are celebrated as much as they deserve, I'm going to teach a little thing for maybe some newcomers. If you know spoken word, then you might know it already. If you agree, or basically if you just agree or really feel what someone's saying, just click along to show your appreciation. But anyway, yeah.
So now that we've covered all the bases, sit tight and get ready for this mind-blowing experience. Our first performer for this evening will be one of your incredible hosts. Please give it up for Kiz.
Right, as you know, I'm Kiz. I was on the 5th Shake. I've come all the way from Derby, and I'm just going to do a little spoken word piece that I wrote when I was at Shake. And it goes like, imagine these people who had everything, had nothing. What would they be? Quite literally nothing. Stop trying to cover up with your makeup, because they can't make up for the way they shaped us. They say Britain's great, but what's great when you can't get your cake up? Wake up before it's too late and you sat in the grave where they put you. Look at a girl, what do you see? How old is she? Covered in makeup. People should wake up. Wake up. What happened to personality? Is it more bad to see a young person sat on the street with nothing but a bag of weed? People want to take the lead, stop waiting. You know what you can achieve. Don't slip between the seams, cause the poor stay poor around here, so you gotta push yourself to stand it. And I couldn't give a crap about riches and that, cause I'm Kiz, I'm passion. So we all be standing by, relaxing. In 1 second action, makes reaction. I just wanna say, we really can't have this. Run up in Parliament on some mad-ish. Escape the madness, cause it's backwards. I said escape the madness, cause it's backwards. Thank you very much. Next up, I'd like to welcome the lovely Mushkaba.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everyone doing tonight? Good? I'm not going to perform with this lack of energy, so when I say voices, you shake. Voices! Shake! Voices! Shake! Voices! Shake! Shake! Voices! Yes, you're awake. That's good. That's good to hear, man. Alright, so let me start. This piece that I'm going to perform to you right now is called Headspace. I'm enclosed in this darkness. No matter how hard I try, I can't move. I begin to panic, gasping for air to reach my lungs for nutrition. My heart's pumping. While blood rushes around me, I feel like I'm suffocating. Tracks of light creep into the small space dissecting me. Some may see this as a toy, a key to imagination, while others use it to carry things. But not me. Being enveloped in this darkness, I'm alone. No friends around to keep me posted. I hear the sharpening of a knife and a slight rip. A shiver runs down my spine. I'm in cold sweats now. It feels very warm, but I don't know my future. Sweat drips off the tip of my nose. The top opens. Light floods in. Comforting, unfamiliar faces welcome me outside the box into a world with no limits. I stand up, eyeing the creases of my jeans, and take a step out of the box. Slowly, but surely, I'm at ease. I'm free to move in any way that I want to. Now, I have space to clear my head. Looking inside the box from an outsider's perspective, into this jail cell of isolation, I can see hope for a so-called lost generation. My second piece for tonight is called My Apology, and so yeah. I apologize to the man who I passed, praying for the possibility of being passed the penny. I apologize to the lady crying on the train. On behalf of your boyfriend, we men can be idiots when we fall for females. I apologize to the kid feeling alone in this cold world. I guess I'm stuck in my own problems to even realize your pain. I apologize to the waitress who I didn't tip last week. Times are hard for me, I barely stay out of debt. I apologize to the man who calls himself my father. You're not Darth Vader, so calm the fuck down. I apologize to all the people who I've made cry. I feel so shit about myself, I wish I'd died. I apologize to those who hear me joke about suicide. If I didn't joke about it, I'd be dead. I apologize to my maker for almost wasting my life. I'm glad that I'm not starting to find my purpose. I apologize to those born complications. I guess some people are more fortunate than others. I apologize to the younger, dumber me for thinking the worst of myself. I know people doubted him, so I'm telling him he can do it. I apologize to all the mothers in the world who've lost a child. If you need a shoulder to cry on, here's mine. My biggest apology, is to my mother. So Mom, I'm sorry if I don't turn into the man you raised me to be. It hurts me to see you in pain and to watch me grow, and aspire to climb higher on the ladder in this brutal world. Finally, I apologize if you're not on this list of apologies. I guess I've done more harm than good. Thank you. I would like to finish this off with a quote that I read on the tube this morning, and it just inspired me, and I thought I'd inspire you tonight. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will be at peace, by Jimi Hendrix. Thank you very much, Richmond. Have a nice evening.
Please welcome Ikra, followed by Zareen.
Hi guys, this is a poem I wrote in the 5th Headspace showcase, and it's called New Slave. Trapped in a world where freedom remained a myth, the mindless walked around, briefcase ignorance as their bliss. They crawled the earth with their souls chained and dead, for man was no longer born, instead he was constructed. Yet within the darkness stood the free thinker, the survivor, the fighter, but no one could see her. She clutched onto man's shattered remains as her wounds stretched deeper. She screamed, she wept, feeling so incomplete. The eyes of her neighbors were blindfolded with deceit. Tongue-tied, all were dead, but she was alive. How could she have revived mankind when not one had rooted by her side? Her knees crumbled and her speech fumbled at her final breath, chose ignorance as her bliss and took the hand of death, trapped in a world where freedom remained a myth. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name's Zareen. I was part of the 4th Shake. Unfortunately, I didn't make it to the 5th one, but this is a poem that I just want to share with you all. why don't you just relax it? I mean, it's the most obvious thing, this massive untamed brambles twisted down your scalp just doesn't work. It will never be beautiful. I mean, I'm sure you're pretty for a black girl. Under all that mess, but your coils and knots are undesirable. I'm telling you, you'll never be admired. I mean, how will he run his hands down your hair, caress every strand, every breath, every fingertip, if once they're in, he can't pull them out again. I mean, it's the most obvious thing, trust me. I know that, look, just look at the TV. You'll never see a black woman at her desk, her eyebrows curved, her lashes inked elegant, reporting of the world without anything less than Brazilian. It's just unprofessional. I mean, how dare you wear the tresses God blessed you with? Listen, if you were meant to wear your hair with pride, then tell me why all the billboards are painted perfect white. See, if a black person appears in an advert, it's either revolutionary or an advertiser is like, I missed the spot. But don't get offended, I'm not racist. I know how you guys get when the word black is mentioned. Because blonde flowing locks hold the key. You don't want people to push against doors all because you won't shut up about your ethnicity. I mean, does your hair even grow? Like, it kind of makes me uncomfortable. It reminds me of beating drums and cheetahs and zebras and lions and men who run through long vines clicking like the sound my mouse made when I typed Africa on Google. But you should want this. You should want to rip out every single kink, every single curve, every single crescent, rip it out and replace with perfect European, let it hang down your shoulders, whip your hair back to a time in reception, your puffs and your pink beads, till someone told you it's time to grow up and put in extensions. Remind yourselves what we taught you. You must aspire to pristine porcelain, wipe clean your ancestry, polish your beauty, douse your pride in chemicals. Just relax. It will be over soon.
The next two performers are who will be joined on stage by Masina and Latif.
I'm Haneen and I was on the 5th Shake, so the last one which was in August, and we did something called free write, which I'd never done before. And just for those who don't know, it's just you literally just have to write whatever, any time, and just keep going, you can't stop. So we did it at different points, and we had a free write after we discussed a poem called Discourse on the Logic of Language by Marlene Philip. And so this was what I wrote after hearing that poem during that free write, and then I fixed it. And yeah. They pulled out their tongues, not their ears. They pulled out their tongues, not their ears. They pulled out their tongues, not their ears. So to listen is to be passive. They said so, yes, they said so, and we listened. Able to receive, to react, not give, not act. Being able to hear but made not to respond, it's crueler. We pulled out your tongues, not your ears. We pulled out your tongues, not your ears. We pulled out your tongues, not your ears. What if we could not hear their voice? What if we would not heed their voice? Could they colonize our deaf languages? We pulled out your tongues, not your ears. We pulled out your tongues, not your ears. We pulled out your tongues, not your ears.
Right then, that was a pretty touching piece. Next up, we've got Latif. Latif, would you like to come up?
This morning, Mother wasn't in pain. There were no weeps, no groans, no coughs. Just a silent room, a silent heart, a silent village. Through a leaking hole in the roof, I peered at the red sun, rise an inch with every blink. Good morning, Mum. No reply again. I pulled her jaw back and poured in the remains of yesterday's water, put a blanket over her, put my left sandal on, and closed the tied shack door behind me into the tickling sun. The lifeless pond blurred green shadows with the slightest touch. I submerged my cupped hand past the dead twigs and animal feces to what I deemed the most drinkable. It didn't make me cough today. My scorched neck supported the leaking bucket of water that I carried home. Mum, guess what? I caught the fattest pigeon by the river. And guess what, Mum? Mum. Mum.
Thank you for that, Haneen, Marcina and Latif. There were some pretty awesome pieces. Up next, we've got a great piece by Connie, who was part of the last Shake course, and a video from Will, who was also a part of the course, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it tonight. So, would you like to come up?
Hello, my name's Constance, and this poem is about a beautiful flower. Beautiful flower. A heavenly breath and all my thoughts evade me. I am besotted with your beauty, intoxicated with your divine perfume. A blissful scent that embellishes the air. One sacred breath and I've left London, whirled to a wondrous dewy field, embroidered with flowers that sing sweet harmonies into the air, dancing happily to the wind's tune. An empowering fragrance that evokes calm and peace. You are a bouquet of divinity, an iridescent wave of splendor, an aroma like a sweet glass of sangria, soft spices and salacious ripe fruits. A strong enamel as loving as a grandmother's kiss. Your delicate petals, an erupting umber pink, refreshed with droplets of rainwater from the new morning. Your rosy gates proudly stand like royalty. So delicate and feminine, you attract the little creatures of God, making provision for the next generation. You are handmade by God, each crease intricately woven. The birds chirp in excitement as they fly around you, and the sun beams boldly like a mother's smile. You truly are beautiful, my dear flower.
Our next performers are both incredible artists and also Shake facilitators. Please give a warm welcome to Sai and Marcina.
Knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor who?
Doctor. Who? Who is there between the two of us? Doctor. Who mediates our meeting of minds? Who prevents you from seeing me? Doctor. Patient. Patience. Doc. Tear yourself away from your PC screen. I want you to feel me, Doc. Not through some cold, inert instrument. Feel me with your heart. Tip, tap, tap, tap. Feel me. See, English was never our first language. Our native language is sense. Which one of your metal machines can measure the contents of my head? X-ray, irradiate, scan my thoughts, transfer, transmit to your head, to fingertips. Tip, tap, tap, tip. Keyboard to PC screen. Dock, tear. Yourself away from divorcing head from body, dissecting these intersections. Dock, tear your eyes away from influences, confluences of patriarchal, capitalist, consumer, colonized, racialized existence. Doc, you take my blood without ever scratching beneath the surface of my skin. Doc, tears. In how many millimeters of salt water and city soot must I swim? How many milligrams of lithium, chlorpromazine, sertraline, procyclidine, temazepam, lorazepam, actropose, acupase, troperidol? Count these tears, doctor. Bottle them, each one containing 1,000 toxins. Can you quantify my misery? But these are happy tears, happy tears. I was happy to carve off my clothes, to scalpel logos from my chest, swoosh, slash, swish, tick, an act of self-repair. Part 2, Section 2 of the Mental Health Act, 1983. Take 2 of these pills. Take 2 of these forced injections. Take 2 months on the new, improved, recommended medication with slightly less horrific side effects. Take 2 stones of extra blubber. Take 2 years of call center minimum wage stagnation, sectioned, dismembered. Do not remember. Do not remember who you are, who we are meant to be. Do not remember our connection to earth, life, our place within nature, which, if we are to do hierarchy, comes beneath the trees, plants, animals. Do not remember your freedom to walk the earth, that slap of bare soul on concrete pavement, sand, forest floor, freedom of walking nowhere, anywhere, into gardens, down driveways, across motorways, up staircases, over fences, through factories. Do not remember to talk to strangers, to connect the dots, the zeros, the ones beyond the binary, the matrix map. Take 3, Section 2. I begin to take apart sentences. Sentence this. Make sense of this sentence. The local vicar comes to visit. He tries to free me from my demons. I offer to free him from his one-dimensional God. As we talk, as he talks, I sit silent. Will you step beneath your beard, Father? I telepathically beam. Will you commune with me for a millisecond, down here in the dust, for this paradise you speak of, I've visited, and I'm here now. Knock, knock. Sonia. Sonia's shoe, I can smell it from here. Sometimes, that's all it is, Father, Doctor. Sometimes we've stepped into something. We need to look underneath, overstand, peer into our souls. Do you see where I've walked? A mile, a milli, in my stigmatized stigmata bare feet, Father. A barefoot runaway slave, a case of draped ammonia, Doctor. Removing my spectacles, I begin to see Brixton becomes Barbados. In the summer haze, I see the ocean. Cold Harbour Lane leads to Brandon Beach. Everything was, is connected. You look ill, Doctor. You look stressed, Father. You're not maintaining eye contact, Doctor. Doctor, you look tired. Your report is poor. Have you had thoughts about killing yourself recently, Doctor? Perhaps you should try to kill yourself. Absorption, Doctor. Kill this prescriptive presumption of self-right, Doctor. Must be a terrible burden, Doctor. Knock, knock on those doors of perception, Doctor. Dimethyltryptamine, psilocybin, meditation, permanent vacation, Doctor. Knock, knock, doc. Knock, knock. Let yourself in. Thank you. So I'm just going to read a short piece, which is, explain some of my journey, because I didn't always have this amazing role in being able to work with such talented, inspiring, uplifting youth. So this is part of my past. So bear with me. It takes a while to admit this, but okay. My name is Simon. I am an Adman. It's hard to name. I've been clean for several years. It's actually 15 years, 8 months, 3 weeks, and 2 days, 8 hours, 27 minutes since my last corporate advertising campaign. Thank you. That helps. I'm here today thanks to a spiritual awakening. In Western medical parlance, a nervous breakdown. I was lucky. It was suffering a nervous breakdown that forced me to address my advertising and to recognise the damage it was causing both myself and others. At my very lowest point, I'm ashamed and embarrassed to admit that I sold drugs to children. You can boo. There's some children in the audience today, I apologise. And not just any drug, the most destructive, damaging drug of all drugs, sugar. And highly addictive processed sugar byproducts. After developing a conscience, I am now able to begin the slow process of rebuilding my life. It has been a long and often troubled journey, but I have so far resisted the compulsion to return to this poisonous lifestyle and deadly affliction. I have been lucky. I realise many are not so fortunate, so I am here today to share with you that there is hope. The politicians among you, the bankers, the hedge fund managers. There is, I know this movie, there is hope. With the help of family, friends, and my sponsor, I hope to control my addiction.
Very nice. Headspace.
Looking at me on the floor, thinking to yourself, look at the girl, is she crazy? Just play my guitar to make enough money to get something to eat. That's not crazy. I said to myself this morning when I woke up, can't just sit around, waste my life away. The Creator gave me a choice, I had a voice, so where I am today, trying to make my way. selling no run, ain't planning on scheming, not doing no wow, 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 wow. I'm just singing. I ain't selling no drugs, ain't begging or stealing, feel free to give. Like I feel free to sing. Police tell you I intimidate, but that's not true, there's a crime. I'm just singing. When they lock you up, box you up inside your face, now baby that ain't crazy. Yes, it's crazy.
Now, we're going to screen the documentary, the film that the Shake participants produced through the last course.
Eternally conflicted. I pray for the day they tell you that beauty can only take you so far. I am breaking through, burning up inside. The base of a tool you proclaim necessary, the weight of thousands on me, lost on earth my forefathers reigned the land. My existence displaces that which came before me, abused so freely with confidentiality you created me. A fever constantly rising, you created me. Your power can beat me. I might be forgotten, faded now, but the earth used to be mine. Yes, I look happy, I feel yellow. But they don't tell you, without your version of beauty, you're given a permanent scar. How does my thinness grow green out of its dense grey? The wind blows the tune, and the gentle flower dances happily.
We're now going to have a question and answer with some of the filmmakers. So please welcome Anissa, Isla, Maya, Maria, Olivia, Tilly. And after that, we'll open up to discussions to the floor.
Young people do too, and education affects, all aspects of our lives.
But when politicians are going through like education reforms, they never come to young people and ask us what we want. So this was like an opportunity to just sort of voice our opinions on education.
Thank you. So out of all the different mediums, why did you choose film, and especially a documentary?
I guess it was because everything you said, we wanted to be able to back up the way we felt with the public's opinion. So, because we interviewed and talked to a lot of people and wanted to make sure that we weren't just having this idea that was completely disconnected, and that kind of confirmed what we thought was also thought by the public and other young people when we spoke to them, and hopefully that was showed.
Could you tell us a bit about the process of shooting this film?
So we were all given our different roles, and so we had everything. We had producers, we had researchers, we had people who were actually going out and finding these people to go and film. Personally, because I was given the role of director of photography, so I did a lot of what I'm really passionate about. Everyone got a chance to be really actively involved, which I think was really important. People could kind of manage things. We had total creative control, and we could do what we want with it, really, and we did. We got what we wanted.
Okay, so we're going to take some questions from the audience now. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, hi, I'm Patrice, I'm one of the facilitators with Dershi here. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Wicked, sweet. Just one note, this is a rough cut, so things are subject to change. And I know we've got some people's names and titles wrong. I'm sorry, Jane, for that. Anyone else? We do apologise, it was our fault. But yeah, anything else? Any sort of notes that you guys might have that you think, you know, that you could give to us to make the piece better, please do so. Yeah?
And it's probably best to let you know that these guys managed to film all of that in
2 days.
2 days, 2.5 days. And you very rarely get to do that. And I know certainly for most of you, some of your first times even holding a camera. So this is just a great achievement and for you to screen it at Winchester.
Thank you. So now we're going to take some questions from the audience. Please wait for a microphone to reach you before you ask your question. As this event is being filmed, I would like all questions to be recorded properly. So does anyone want to ask questions?
I just want to know if you guys where you think this project might lead to, like what your aim is for the future, what do you want people to take away from it, what exactly are you trying to change or do? I'm just really interested in what you see happening after this.
So by the end of the week, a bunch of us were quite upset that we don't see each other again, but Shake isn't just a sort of one course thing, there's a lot of continuity, so a lot of us split up after to do the editing process, and there's a Shake, I think it's like a booklet which has different volumes of poetry everyone has, and it's just about having, to me it's just about having that safe space just to be able to talk to everyone and just about any issues, and that itself sometimes is a big change.
I think as well it's quite important because it is an issue that affects all of us, and then whoever as well sees it will understand that, because we've realised through doing it that how people do feel about it, and especially from other projects that I've been involved with, there's things like an education march going on end of October that because people are passionate about it and people do care about it, so the specific ones that we're doing are to do with like decolonising education and stuff like that, because a lot of people feel really strongly about that. So there's a lot of work going into it from all different things.
If you were talking in reference to the film, we do, like the last Shake that we did, the young people then got to enter their films into festivals, and so it got accepted to three festivals. So, you know, their films are, you know, they continue to live even after this project. And yeah, we'll be doing the same with this film. And so it doesn't end here, and they can come back to it, we edit it, and there's a lot of work that they can do around it.
Also, going back to the question about why we chose to do it on film, I think film is quite a good medium if you want to like talk about issues that are going on, like a good medium to share on like social media,
or to send to your local MP if you think that it will have an effect and cause social change. So, that was the question.
So we're looking to send it to government, essentially, education department.
Anyone else want to ask?
So I'm not really well versed in anything to do with film, but like you guys said, it took 2.5 days to film that. I was just wondering how long it took to edit it, again looking so polished, because it's amazing. So
there were 3 main editing sessions which took place kind of weekly, and they were a really good opportunity to look through all the footage that we'd taken, to we documented a lot, we wrote down a lot of stuff, a lot of time, so some of it can be quite, not boring, it was still an interesting part to be, but it was the long bits, it was less action-packed. A lot of the other stuff was really, we could do paper edits, we did, it was about writing. Yeah, paper edits, organising everything how we wanted to look, and just hope that it would kind of turn out how it did, and it turned out basically how we wanted it to. So all of it kind of went to good use. Do you want to talk about it?
So essentially, all in all, sort of 2.5 days filming, 2.5 days editing, basically. 5 days in total.
Hiya. I recently found out from someone that I know who works in a school that things have changed quite a lot recently in terms of the curriculum and what people learn and the focus of what people learn. An example of this was that last year a history GCSE coursework question was on what Martin Luther King and other civil rights activists did for black people in America. And that this year it was which US president did the most for black people in America. It seems to me that school is becoming less and less of a place where people can discuss social change and engage with these ideas. So it would be really, I think, helpful to understand the spaces where you can talk about social change and how you've come to be in this space at the moment. And if school is not that place, then where is and what's happened to get you here?
So, I think Shake definitely is a place where you can come. It's not just because I work for them, but it is a place where you can come and literally discuss whatever's on your mind. And when I see no holds barred, it is so awesome. For me, even just to listen to everyone else speaking, even I learn a lot, which is sick. So yeah.
And before I started facilitating, I actually came to the second Shake, I think it was. So I came here myself because at school, at college or at university, I felt almost silenced. And this was a space where I could say anything that I wanted to. Nothing was stupid, we could explore different ideas. And I was lucky to find it. And so I hope events like this kind of spread the word, because I know there's a lot of people who are searching for that space, and every year we do Shake, there seems to be more interest, and today is just kind of an example of that, because it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So.
Can I just add to that as well? I'm a college teacher, yeah, and the way that we're taught, the way that we're meant to teach in colleges, for me, is so rigorous, as it's really robotic. So your question was, why come to Shake? For me, it was so I could teach outside of that robotic type of industry, if that makes sense. Yeah? Does that answer your question? Cool.
There's a question there.
It's just a really quick question. How did you find out about Shake?
So like Isla, I did another summer school called Demand the Impossible, and we had one of the Shake facilitators talk to us and do a sort of activity over there, and she told us about Shake. And from the other course I did, we were learning about radical politics and activism, and I sort of didn't want it to just end there, just have a week of a course and then just stop being active. So then I thought of continuing with Shake and then just carrying on with being radical.
A little bit ironically, me and Maya went to university together, and it was the day I graduated, having this degree, and I actually realised that I wanted to do something completely different, that but I've never really had the chance to learn about this sort of industry in the education system. So it was on that day that Maya told me about Shake and a different alternative path to education I decided to take.
Oh yeah, there was one more question here.
In the video, it says in the video it talks about how he says about, I think he says they need GCSEs. I'm just wondering if it was correct.
Make sure you go to school tomorrow. Do your GCSE. That's a really difficult question to answer. I think everyone here will have a different experience. Me personally, well, can you help me out here?
Okay. Okay, young man. Why you asking such a bad question? No, seriously. GCSEs, I think, are a good thing because it, when you get them, but when you get them, it teaches you, it gives you that sort of like awesomeness and stuff. Like, yeah, whoa, yeah, GCSE, isn't it? However, I would say as well, A-levels are good, or even if you don't even want to do that sort of route, it's also a good thing. But it's good for parents as well, I think. To keep money down on the side, you know, that sort of thing. So please stay in school. Don't tell your parents here.
In all seriousness, I think it's a good stepping stone. Yeah. But I think what the guy was saying was that once you've done your GCSEs, once you've done your A-levels, and once you've got a degree, sometimes, and in my experience, no one asks about that. And so you don't necessarily have to have an educational background to achieve great things in life. And I think that's what he was trying to say. So, everyone's experience is different. You may end up getting a degree, you might get a master's and a PhD. But just know that you can achieve great things without that, is all I'm saying.
That's what I meant to say.
I think one other thing, it's not just about saying you shouldn't have GCSEs, but the documentary is also about saying maybe we should be or thinking more deeply about what the GCSEs are that you're studying, or that how they're taught, what the curriculum is. So it's like education is important, but we just need to be a bit more critical about what we're educating children and young people.
Thank you so
much! Yeah, thank you. Now, for the second half of our show, we'd like to invite on stage some more super amazing poets and musicians.
Welcome to the stage, Annie!
Hi. My name is Annie, and I struggle to speak. Hi, my name is Annie, and I struggle to speak. I'm afraid to repeat myself. Hi, my name is Annie, and I struggle to speak. I'm afraid to repeat. My self-worth has been taken from me. My self-worth has been taken from me, so now palm my way into poetry. No judgment zones to word flow from my soul to be whole finally. No boundaries to inhibit my personality. No delicate rules of etiquette to define whether I'm sane or crazy. No peer pressuring eyes silhouetted in shadows of my mind that stigmatize. And we call this freedom of speech, but you see, freedom of expression has now become freedom of oppression. It has birthed bullies, alchemists that mold words into bullets by belittling and bitching sessions, and it hurts.
when the lessons we are taught that our voices have no hearts, that they are lifeless beings that we cremate into ashes of insignificance, only holding weight when we use the arguments of respected names that have money, power, and a claim to fame. You see, freedom of oppression is like a hurricane. It destroys other people's lives by creating ghettos of silence where tongues are involuntarily tied, by buds that flower from the taste of being denied the touch of feeling demonized. So now our speech is becoming dumb because we're all being desensitized. But I remember when speech was meant to be a symphony of synonyms that synchronized our sides, and it was meant to flow streams of silver that were meant to slip, that were meant to slide lovingly off of tongues to emancipate one another. What has happened? Because all I see are verbal assassinations making us mute and making us stutter. We use words fit with hate to subjugate, we splutter victims into pursed lips that fear whips from tongues dipped into sick fallacies. So no, freedom is not yet part of our vocabulary. When we send tweets that leech onto each other's inadequacies and post comments massacring confidence into quiet insecurities. When I'm smart and you're dumb, I'm big and you're little, I'm right and you're wrong, yet there's nothing as a society we are doing about it. But the times that I'm now living in is one in which freedom is being used to imprison. So we need to let go of our egos who arrogantly believe that being anonymous justifies hating on another human being, and we need to recognize that accents don't define. Your language may be different, but your speech is not better than mine. We need to break systematic structures that build barriers in the way we write, the way we rhyme, the way we think and articulate our lives. They say our speech is free. So maybe that's why our talk has become so cheap. So hi, my name is Annie, and that's why I struggle to speak. And I'm dedicating it to the facilitator, Bazana, which wanted me to perform this poem tonight for you guys. I always saw him and realized that his still eyes were being swallowed by the cloudy sky. I could see that he was trying to still rise. So one day, curiosity urged me to ask how every day of his life he just let pass by. He looked me in the eyes, showed me a pair of dice and told me, you know what? Life is like a roll of the dice. You use the luck life has rolled the best so you can survive. But like a dice, when you're black, your life is always blocked. Because we're expected to grow into men when we're just black dots trapped in a white box. We're expected to grow into men when all I hear are our names etched on the walls of cell blocks and mental institutions. And the only solution is made behind the smokescreen of racial equality. So statistics have us questioning our own innate morality. Popular culture has us living in confusion of whether self-hatred should be celebrated, so we sing along to the lies of those who have financially made it until we can't even recognize when our own hands are stained black with the ink of freshly penned stereotypes. We rep for the next gang headlines, drug rolls on TV, misogynistic lyrics and box office slave movies, and still deny having any type of responsibility for the reason why we look in a mirror and can't see a colour that reflects our identity. The reason why I cling onto Africa's forgotten history when I see the bodies fall and the whites of our eyes roll back after we stab ourselves with words that teach us we lack. I watch us go bleeds from unpunctured skin like our countries. We use the words to rob our wealth from within. You see my shade. It weaves itself around my limbs and holds me prisoner to a labyrinth of the night. Man, I don't know if I ever see the day where colour means more to me than just black and white. I told him that deception causes us to see colours in the colourless and darkness in light. So learn to see black dots not as a curse but a blessing the next time that you're playing with dice. You see, if we are black dots, then we define the glimmering shield of the ladybird. We are the fists held high as the survivors of bloodshed through wars on this earth. If we are black dots, then we are the locus points for a complete circle to be drawn. We are the pupils in visionaries that learn the term race would one day be mourned. We are the nucleus in the cells, the very building blocks of this world. We are the dots in the eye, so we can personify ourselves. We are the birds that soar so high because we aim for nothing less, and can bring the edge to fashion with the polka dots in a dress. We are the beginning of a new line and form the ink of a fresh page, and no matter how much we're washed, a permanent spot that can't be erased. We are the full stop, the pause to think and to breathe, and anything else our imagination tells us that black dots can be. But if all you ever see are black dots trapped in a white box, you'll miss that we're the black seeds for a new generation to be conceived.
That was just amazing. I think we should give it up for her again. I'd like to welcome to the stage superstar poets Ola and Zina.
We got it sorted. We got it coming. Okay, I'm just going to do a really quick one. I have to say it's been an absolute honour. Please give it up for our poets again, because some of them haven't been on stage before. They've never performed turnout. Thank you so much for coming. It's bloody, it's just like my heart. I can't take it sometimes. So I'm just going to do a really quick one. For me, mental health, laughter is one of the best things to keep ourselves sane. We have to laugh at this crazy world sometimes. So do a little bit of audience participation. Yeah. We'll do a little bit of audience participation. Your cue, exactly. All right. So when I say ha 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 ha, you say ha 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 shoo. I want to hear the bass in your voice, ladies, as well. Thank you. All right, so let's do a try one. I want you to think about, imagine a reggae beat in the background, sort of like. I want you to imagine that beat in the background, yeah. So. Oh wow. Okay, guys, you know the next thing you have to do is get them to do that Mexican wave, yeah? When they come to, because they've been sitting down for a while, so there's probably some non-butts going on there. So yeah. All right, so here we go. Sure. That's it. Here we go. It's better now. From the belly now. I like to bust up, crease up, I bend up and I crack up, twist up and I mash up, bend up and I crease up, the law. I like to bust up, I crease up, bend up and I crack up, twist up and I mash up, bend up and I crease up, the law. It's like an instinctual itch, it's an electric tide, I'm loving this stitch, getting hot in my side as I it's like an instinctual itch, it's an electric tide, I'm loving this stitch, getting hot in my side as I the laugh, you got me howling like a wolf at the moon. I'm grinning like a field of daisies in full bloom. I'm laughing so hard, I'm leaking from my eyes. As my cheeks squeeze the water like clouds from the skies. As I bust up and I crease up, I bend up and I crack up, I twist up and I mash up, I bend up and I crease up, the laugh. Oh, come on now. The laugh, like all the leaves on a tree just flipping over in a summer breeze. The laugh with the energy of a tidal wave turning over and over in open seas. The laugh is a pleasure that comes for free. The laugh is good for your sanity, man. The laugh, do it so your heart don't freeze.
I said, do it so your heart don't freeze. Just do it so your heart don't freeze. I said, do it so your heart don't freeze. So, that's nice now. Two more times, and from the belly now.
Thank you very much.
This is our name. We've passed it down, we fought for it. We made it, we didn't pick it up off the ground. Respect it, don't criticize. People have died. Take it and pin it into your chest, wear it with pride. But this is not a parade. This is life. And I don't know what I'm wearing, I feel blind. There's a yellow terrorist threat and I should watch my neighbour, but sometimes I don't know what I'm scared for. They're calling soldiers heroes when I think they're more like victims. A culture of suspicion bred from our difference. The same people are screwing us, but we're fighting each other. Told to watch out, we're policing one another. They're saying we, they're saying us, implying we're the same. Making identity into a binary, picking on the things we hold for stability. They're taking my family, they're saying they're threatened. Terrorists and immigration. And I don't care about my job, that comes second, because I just want to protect. So I'm watching my door, and I'm reading the news, and I'm hoping we'll come through. They're recruiting on the radio. I don't want to see my son go. So I've pinned your symbol to my chest, but you won't let my mind rest. And I'm just hoping all of this is for the best. I'm just hoping all of this is for the best. Just hoping all of this is for the best. I come from getting lost on purpose. In my internal landscape there is no map. At the back of my mind there is no wall. Only a ditch where stones roll and flowers fall. I come from playing in ditches. I come from getting lost on purpose. I come from getting lost on purpose. The back of my mind there is no road, only a trail. I come from trying to sleep as banshees wail. Come from getting lost on purpose. I come from getting lost on purpose. I went through flipping through profile pictures like Argus catalogues of people, swiping faces on screens like swiping cards to machines, but I come from getting lost on purpose. I come from getting lost on purpose. I went to grade point averages and climbing never-ending ladders, but I come from climbing trees. I come from getting lost on purpose. I come from getting lost on purpose. I want mornings without alarm clocks that stretch further than our unneeded anxieties. I want strong opinions and feelings in a culture that does not cater to the lukewarm. I want a place where I do not need to imagine your presence to feel comfort, but I can stand alongside everyone. I want a place where we do not value our own little bubbles so much because they keep us safe. We are not everyone anymore, but we are kept safe from everyone. I want a life that is not lived for the sake of repairing all the damage life has done in the first place. I want to get lost on purpose. I want to get lost on purpose.
I want to get lost on purpose.
I took part in the last Shake and I loved it. I was immersed in creativity in it. It brought forth loads of poetry. This one's about my GCSEs, which I received pretty recently. Shut out by the production line. Just one of many machines dubbed unworthy. Feel the arms of judgment clunk around your single throat. A whirring of emotion molds face, heart, and mind. Anticipation becomes jubilation. Trepidation becomes confirmation. And big wet tears wash the streets. Lives defined by a single letter on a page. An arbitrary term for which disrespect is sacrilege. Don't question the gods of education. They know you better. They've seen your essence, right down to the letter. We want their control. Otherwise, we could have fought. Education is a gift, also we fought. I thought they controlled all of our, I thought they controlled our thoughts and our minds. I thought they knew us better, down to our plumb lines. I thought they knew how big I could dream. They thought they knew what our lives mean. They thought they knew what we have seen. But they know nothing. They are blind. Blind to the power of man that is alive.
Yeah, my poem's about honesty and language and what happens when you're losing what it is you're trying to say to the people you care most about. Oh, and it's called Tongues. Animated, hands waving, the words slip clean from your tongue, like bare feet against linoleum. Amma slams a knife into a tomato. The flesh begins to bleed. She sucks her teeth with impatience. Hibarho, Banglabitre. Roll your eyes, sigh, and start again. You repeat. Emit detail, drama. Your conversations together lately lack luster, warmth, and you are thinking how cold English is as a language. The phone rings, and you have to shout to be heard. Our love is loud discordance. Calls from the homeland rouse nostalgia. Whim to leave a country still foreign, still too cold for your people. Find yourself stumbling, struggling, stuttering into silence as Nani's voice trembles into the weak reception. Amar morage hibdakbaini amar hibar. A burning chain is bubbling up from belly to throat, and you thrust the foam back, deafen your ears to gentle tutting following in your footsteps. Girls are to be seen, not heard. Abba tells you at 5, and then again at 15. Your mother's tongue sits too big, too brash in your small girl mouth. Some days, silence consumes you whole, and it is a struggle to find yourself through the white noise. It is a shame you have forgotten how to speak to your own people.
Thank you, Tita and Esmia, and I've also been going to ask him, by the way, represent. And up next we have a second performance by one of your hosts. Please give it up for kids!
Thank you, thank you. Can someone give me the beat, please? Please? Yeah, this is just a hip hop tune that I've written for my mixtape, but I thought I'd perform it today for you guys. Oh, that's alright, that's alright. This hasn't got a title either. I'm not good at naming things, but yeah. Can you turn the beat up a little bit, please? Yeah. Check. Look. You know what? How do we go on when the basis of society has got us so wrong? Robots. We are programmed. So what? Is a slogan that you may use. If you accept the abuse, you rip out our tongues and tell us no use. They syndicate a 30 leaves, but do they know you? No dude, so true. Cold roof from where they tore your heart out. Stand up, I said come, we march now. Start out small, but we will build a large crowd. They will bring the armies, but please don't fret, cause this war ain't for it's for the lives of the children to come. The children we love. We want to see them prosper, but the system as it stands has no to offer. Cause we're living up oats while they're eating lobster. We got up, make a change for the better. Draw a sword from his buckle and start taking heads off. Head top, camera and the next one's a hammer tick. Bang, let it off, ain't no jamming it. Comes from the man of blood, you know that my man is sick. You know that my manner is like this. Cause you lot abandoned it, you lot can handle this. Two dogs will stand with kids while we dismantle it. It's tragic how we have to live. Making bags fly, ain't no magic trick. Making lines pop like a can of drink. That's why we're all under this. Like I said, we can't handle this. I repeat, it's tragic, it's madness, it's backwards, it's happening to us till we all say no. Hey ho, we know they don't, they won't let us win. Or at least they hope we breathe, they choke, they up our knees like we need what we seek. What we seek is the key to be free. You know, Praxis said that he'd be pushing for the movement, so I respect that. Carnage got the boss, make your butt, your head fam. JD's got the heart, he could take on 10 man. Abacus be smashing it, real talk activists, kids be the passion that fires up. You're taking their lives, look, they defy us, I defy love, but they deny trust. It's us, but we must see through the must so we can be true to us. Speaking of love, the greed equals lust, cause they look to fuck us up till they smoke us up our funds. I repeat, it's now I leave, I'm done. Thank you very much.
Now we've got our last performance of the evening, and it's a real treat. Please welcome poet, singer, songwriter, Zareen. Woo!
So I wrote this like nearly a year ago, and like I said, Fazana asked me, do you want to perform it? I said no, but I'm here on the stage somehow, and I didn't make Fazana happy anyway, so. Assuming you've heard, or perhaps you can tell, bad news sells, so that there is one hell of a profit. If happiness equals an X amount of growth over losses, who dares stop it? Who cares stop it? These hungry hands are climbing a mountain, seeking a profit, seeking a summit. Be quiet, can you hear it? This avalanche is coming, drumming, running, ready to descend upon those who are already soaking wet. But this is a foreseen and necessary consequence, cause someone has to be the milk for our growing bones. So we'll suck you dry. And as your government folds, we'll keep you blind. So hold strong and not be broken. Intertwine, driving as and trying to ride in the open. Hold strong and not be broken. Intertwine, diving wise and trying to ride in the open. Seeds sown deeply, showered by the spit of decision made with reckless precision in a high-up meeting. These bursting awakening of senses, budding through a skin of pretenses, intertwining vines wrap around a cap and gown that inches further away. Woven stems and embrace leaves hold the fort against bad seeds, but we are worryingly deficient. And I don't know my place in this mission except perhaps to stay strong and to never be broken. So hold strong and not be broken. It's a
collective bow between 1, 2, 3.
Amazing lineup today, and it just seems our Shake family is just ever growing. Who knows? I'm sure like next one you lot are in it too. And this is just a small part of the powerful art that comes out of every year, every Shake.
Yeah, so that's nearly it for tonight. We'd just like to thank you for being such a lovely audience. We hope you've enjoyed the show and that you leave tonight feeling energised and inspired. Please get in touch with us, send us an email or contact us through social media site. As before, the information's up there.
Now we're going to pass it on to Paola and Fozana, who are going to say a few words.
Give a round of applause for them.
I will be brief and I might be a bit repetitive. I'm the arts and activism facilitator for Shake, so I'll be talking about arts and activism. But I think a lot of the things I was going to say were brought up by the film crew before, so yeah, hopefully just like reinforce the message. So as you've seen tonight, at Shake we look at art as a way of communicating ideas and feelings, creating awareness, and thinking about how we want a better society to look like. But a question we are often asked is why art? Why do we use art? Why do we think art is a powerful way of doing this? So there are a couple of straightforward answers that have to do with art as a language for communicating, for art as a way of making messages more complex and more layered and thought-provoking, or even art as a way of making messages more straightforward and, you know, appealing to the senses and to the feelings directly, making things more comprehensible to everyone. Yeah, but I think that there's another main idea why we use art and Shake, why we believe in the power of art. And it is very linked to our sort of continuous pursuit for the decolonization of knowledge and of narratives in society, which is something that the film group mentioned. And what we mean by this is that with the work we do, we challenge some of the dominant narratives on society, particularly around what voices matter and what kinds of knowledge matter. So with events like this one tonight, we hopefully are proving that young people that come from a wide range of backgrounds and experiences are not disengaged, as some media outlets would like us to think, you know, as self-centered, but they're actually very politically aware and concerned with current issues and actually committed to change in society. And we're hopefully also proving that art is not only a way to communicate a message, but also a valid form of creating new knowledge, such as interpretations of history, testimonies to current events and realities, and proposals for alternative social configurations. Yeah, I'm getting a bit boring, but I'll be done shortly. Yeah. So these forms of knowledge challenge the exclusive and often inaccessible canons of academia, which you know, are not accessible to everyone and tend to remain within certain circles. And things like art can also be shared, interpreted, and used in a wide range of ways and by a wide range of people. So at Shake we see art as not only a form of communication, but also as a form of creating an opposition and proposing new alternatives. For this reason, art can be a powerful form of activism, an active force of change in society. So at Shake we see art as activism. We see young people speaking up as activism and creating new ways of learning and producing is activism as well. Thank you. So finally, we have Susanna, who is the coordinator of the Shake, who's going to say the final words.
Can you hear me on this one? Yeah. This one? Yeah. Oh, that's strong. So yeah, I firstly would, I'm just going to kind of wrap up this evening and say a few thank yous. And I think the first thank you that we need to start with is with the incredible participants of Shake because they had so little time to create the incredible artistic responses that they did, and even in terms of rehearsals, they didn't have a lot of time, and for some of them it's the first time they're on stage, so give it up for these guys again. Briefly run through the thank yous, and I know I'm going to miss someone, so I'm sorry in advance for the person I miss out. I will try not to, and then I'll tell you what's next for Shake, and I'll give you a bit of insight about the Shake that we all went through, Headspace. So thank you to the Shake participants, but also the Shake team, because something like Shake doesn't happen, just with the participants or, one or two people. It's an incredible, committed team that really put all their imagination, their resources, their energy into making Shake happen. And I am really fortunate to have an incredible team. Paola Serafini, Sai Harry, who performed earlier, Dina, Patrice, Marty. We also had some incredible Shake participants who have informed this Shake and been critical to making this showcase happen, and that's Holly over here, Sarah, which I can't see, and Nathaniel, who couldn't be here, but he deserves a round of applause because he is so awesome. I'd also like to thank some of our guest speakers who are part of the last Shake. Esther Stanford, who's not here, but Giuseppe and Nim, and Jane Trowell over there, so thank you for informing our supporters, Esme Fairburn, Arts Council, Stephen Lawrence Centre, the Bernie Grant Arts Centre, Numbi family, as well as Rich Mix. Thank you very much for your support and hosting us today. And of course, all of you guys for coming out on a weekday. I got so many emails from people saying, Fazana, what is this? Why is it on a Tuesday? Why can't you do it on Saturday? And you turned up, and it's a good crowd, so thank you very much. What's next? So in the next couple of weeks, we are hosting a youth-led training day, maybe days, might be a weekend, but by some of these guys and some of the other Shake participants, and this will be workshops on campaigns and social justice issues that they're passionate about, training us as educators, facilitators, artists, activists, to create intergenerational discourse and dialogue. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to be part of, and you're thinking Shake is just for 16 to 25-year-olds, it's not. It's an entire movement that incorporates everyone. So leave your name and email behind on the sign-up sheet, and we can keep this conversation going. The other thing is that our next Shake course is called Food Fight, and Resistance is Fertile, and it's at Stephen Lawrence Centre, February half-term 2015, and it will be exploring themes around food politics, food democracy, looking at corporate power, looking at transparency, looking at, if it's anything to go by other Shakes, we'll be touching on many social justice and environmental justice, using food as the kind of starting and springboard for it. So that's what's coming up in the next year and also in the next couple of weeks. In terms of this Shake, the way that we arrived at Headspace was quite organic, and we always try to inform each Shake through the values and ideas and questions that these guys have been asking. And one thing that we'd realised, this is the fourth Shake that I've been part of, but 5 have already taken place, and what kept coming up and arising was that young people, as well as us facilitators, and our collaborators kept saying, we're sick, we're feeling overwhelmed in our workplaces, in our education system, everything we do, we're feeling physically and emotionally sick. And that's a really powerful statement, to say that you're feeling sick by everything around you. It flagged something up, naturally for us, and we wanted to explore that. And so this is why we dedicated the last Shake to the Headspace and looking at physical, mental and spiritual well-being, and what it means to make ourselves better, and what are the things that lead to making us sick. And is it natural to be sick in a world where we still have the colonial process and impact, where we still have capitalism and patriarchy? So is it natural to be sick, and why are there so many stigmas around it? So these are some of the things that we wanted to explore, and then we kind of arrived at Space, not only because we were looking at it in terms of an embodied experience, that, you know, our head is a space and our body is a space, and these are legitimate spaces, but also the impact of the spaces around us in terms of gentrification that a lot of people were talking about and that we're experiencing in safe spaces. You know, if you're a person of colour or if you're LGBTQI, what are the spaces that you can access and that are meaningful for you? So, hence the title Headspace. What we tried to do in the first day of the course, and then which led to kind of exploring the creative outputs we saw, were looking at our immediate society and asking ourselves questions about how are we made sick by our society, in our bodies, in our minds, and in our values or our spirits. And then how are the marginalized in our communities? If you're a woman, if you're a person of color, if you're black, brown, transgender, how are you particularly made sick by your society? So looking through the eyes of the marginalized. And then we didn't stop there. We tried to reimagine a world or a society that we lived in that contributed to our mental health and happiness, our physical health and happiness, and also our spiritual and value-led health and happiness, and what that kind of looked like. And we were fortunate, as I said, to have Esther and Jane and Josetta and Nim join us. And Esther said something really profound in that she started her conversations looking at birthing for social change. So what she did is she looked at the history and how we, as communities who have, you know, been part of, you know, empire and impacted by that, or colonialism or transatlantic slavery, how we inherit the traumas through generations. So even from the moment we're born, we've already inherited the anxiety, the distress of our communities and our ancestors. And what are those impacts? And she cited Mark Twain, and she said the quote that he has, there are 2 days in your life that are important: the day you're born and the day you figure out why. And, you know, Jane followed that up really well by talking, you know, she was talking to a group of activists about, when you find out why, what do you do with that? How do you sustain yourself as an activist? And our work is not just one course, it's in our everyday lives. And how do we sustain ourselves in a healthy way and work and be political and bring about change for the rest of our lives? And that takes effort and that takes energy. And how do we do it in a way that, I love this phrase, Jane, that outwits and outlasts the oppressors? And it's really important that we think in this long-term strategy way, because we have work to do, serious work. And then Josetta and Nim, you brought an entire new dimension in investigating what when we become our activists and artists and our change makers in our lives, what it means to then think about that in terms of race, in terms of our identity, in terms of gender. And those are really, really important questions to be asking and thinking about. And I know I'm waffling a lot on it. I think that essentially going through that kind of experience on the last Shake, one thing that we do in Shake, we never come with concrete answers. We ask questions and we try to create spaces that are critical and creative. And so we were asking a lot of questions, and I know there are a lot of educators, activists, artists in the room. And I think in the spirit of Shake, I wanted to leave you with some questions that we'd been asking ourselves before this course, that became consolidated during the course and have heightened since the course. So I hope that these questions are things that you can take away, as well as all the inspiring performances that you've seen. So the first question, I know that you've all probably heard before, that I want to ask you perhaps in a different way. So what is it that the world you want to live in looks like? What does it physically look like? What colours are there? What does it actually look like? And as artists and educators and people who are trying to bring about change, these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. That world that we're working towards, what does it look like? And what does it sound like? Whose voices are present? Whose narratives are present? And whose ones are missing? What does it feel like? What does it feel like for me, the people in our communities? And what does it feel like in our bodies, in our heads, and in the spaces that we operate in? Who does it leave behind, and what does it take forward? And how does it always try to push forward the most vulnerable people in our communities? And I think those are the questions that I'd like you guys to take away, and really questions that have inspired a lot of the work that we do in Shake, and questions that, you know, keep me up at night for sure. And I kind of wanted to end on that note, and hope you guys can take that away. And also, because I didn't want to end on me, we have a group piece which you actually kind of saw before the film. It was a tiny short video made by the film group and the Poetic group, and it's a group poem which they created together. Everybody inputted on it, and I think it's perhaps the most profound way to end tonight. So,
eternally conflicted. I pray for the day they tell you that beauty can only take you so far. I am breaking through, burning up inside. The base of a tool you proclaim necessary, the weight of thousands on me, lost on earth my forefathers reigned the land. My existence displaces that which came before me, abused so freely with confidentiality you created me. A fever constantly rising, you created me. Your power can beat me. I might be forgotten, faded now, but the earth used to be mine. Yes, I look happy, I feel yellow. But they don't tell you, without your version of beauty, you're given a permanent scar. How does my thinness grow green out of its dense grey? The wind blows the tune, and the gentle flower dances happily.
on that note, we've got this space till 10, so yeah, come hang out with us. And thank you for coming. Thank you, everyone.
I really loved it. Last year I saw another showcase of Shake, and it always really gets to me and it makes me very emotional. I don't know if it's the way that they portray the realities, and maybe I'm not very close to that, or the way the way they do it, like you know, the poetry or music. But it was very intense, and it's good to see that young people are involved in this kind of issues.
Really enjoyed the evening. I thought it was a really well-rounded evening with lots of different performances, music, spoken word, poetry, which is really nice, something for everyone, and just lots of nice messages behind it all as well. And it was just something I didn't normally do, and I really enjoyed it basically. So well done, keep on doing what you're doing. I'd definitely like to come to the next one.
So I really enjoyed the evening. I just loved the idea. That every person was really good. The idea was great. Basically, I'm a stylist. I express my work by styling people. So for me, that was a really nice thing. You can express yourself by telling people what you're doing. I loved the evening. It was great seeing everyone there on the stage and stuff. The music was good. Everyone was really nice. Thank you guys. That was really good.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good evening. I didn't really know what to expect before I came, and I feel like I've learned a lot and some really important messages to put across. So I definitely will come again and be interested in Shake things in the future. Well done.
Yeah, I've just watched the Shake show at Rich Mix, and it was an amazing night of poetry. As a poetry lover, for me to see young people who've either never written or never performed before doing their thing on stage, it's absolutely an amazing experience. Loved so many of the poems. Some that stuck out to my head was Hanine's piece. They took our tongues but not our ears, and I think her name's Anne. Her two pieces on stuttering and learning to speak rather, and her piece on black dots. Beautiful, amazing. Every poet literally had something amazing to say, and it was just a great night.